Arena in Knoxville, Tennessee. Mr. Cole Swindell is opening for Dierks Bentley's World Tour. Are you ready to put on a great show for us tonight?
Oh man, always glad to be back in Tennessee and right here in Knoxville, man. It's going to be a loud crowd, I hope, and it's just always, like I said, it's always good to be back down south and playing music. And Dierks Bentley is a hero of mine, man. I love him, and I'm just glad to be out here on tour.
Absolutely. So, have you been in Knoxville before? Thompson Bowling, are you familiar?
Yeah, man. We've, I've been very fortunate my first couple of years to be on tours with, I've been here with Luke Bryan. I've been on tour with Jason Aldean, Florida Georgia Line. Now, Dierks Bentley. So I've been here a couple of times, but. I'm working my way up. One day I have dreams of headlining and having my own tour, and this would be a special place for me to stop. All the football team, the coaches, and they're always so good to me around here, and I just love being here.
Yeah, and you mentioned kind of getting on your way up to opening your own show, right? You're kind of already almost up there, as we have heard that you're one of very few country solo artists to be able to throw out singles and have them stay on the top of the charts. What about your music do you think resonates with your audience members so well?
Man, that's a great question. I wish I could nail it down exactly and tell you, but I honestly think it's just because I'm a country music fan. I grew up a fan, and what I write about is whether it's happy or sad. I think it's just I want it to be real. Every song can't be like "You Should Be Here." It can't be a sad song. I have songs that are fun, but I just want people to be able to relate to them and know that, hey, I'm just a real person just like them, and I think that's why we all love country music, is that we can relate to it, and it's just how we live.
Absolutely, just like the realness to it, I think is what everybody enjoys about the South, if anything, right?
100%.
Yeah, so we have heard that you're known for kind of the fun performances that you put on stage. How do you do it? How do you get up on the stage and just have a good time for the audience?
It's so funny, man. Thinking back to my college years, I was scared to death to like any public speaking, getting up, doing a presentation, any of that. Could not do it. But when I'm up there on that stage, I don't know. There's no place on this earth that I feel more at home and safe, and it's my world up there. And for whether it's 45 minutes or an hour and a half, however long I get to play, everything's okay, no matter what kind of day it's been. So, and those fans, the crowd, the energy. I don't know what it's like to play college football, but I can just imagine the roar of the crowd, how the adrenaline is through the roof, and that's why I think our shows are so much energy, because the crowd pumps me up that much. So.
Yeah. So some years back, we started as a merch guy for Luke Bryan, right? Yep. How do you think that has kind of helped you with your own product now that you're able to kind of sell your own brand?
Yeah, that's obviously not why I moved to Nashville, but looking back, I wouldn't change anything about it, because I got to, see how a new artist does things, see what happens. I was selling the T-shirts. I was the one talking to the fans, seeing what they liked, and watching the shows from the merch table and getting song ideas, just, like you were talking about, so they could relate to the songs. And just looking back now, I just think traveling the country, getting to see what an artist does before I actually ever got my shot, I think that's something a lot of people don't. When they get their record deal, they're thrown into it and they don't have a clue. And me, I'd never been in Luke's shoes, but I'd seen what happens, and I was prepared for it. So those merch years are very important for me.
Very important, absolutely. So out of all of the top singles that you've put out there that have hit the charts and stayed up there, which one has been the most meaningful to you, and why?
Oh, no question, "You Should Be Here," a song that I wrote after losing my father. And I wanted to put something out like we were talking about, that to let people know, hey, I've been through some of the things you've been through, and that's just one instance. But that song for sure, because that's the reason I fell in love with country music, because it helped me as a kid, and just now having the chance to write songs that hopefully are helping. And I know I've heard people's stories. It's knowing that I have a song that's helped people through a rough time is. Man, if that's as big as it gets for me as my favorite song I ever write, I'm cool with that. So,
absolutely, absolutely. More so on the tours that you've been able to do with like Kenny Chesney or Luke Bryan and now Dierks Bentley. Which one, if you could choose, has been your favorite, and why?
Oh man,
Yeah.
They're all special in their own way. There's no way I could pick a favorite. It's usually just whoever I'm on tour with. I get asked that every tour, and I think I've learned from all of them. So that's my favorite part about being able to tour with. Who else could I dream of touring with the 4 years than who you just named? You know, but.
So if we can't give a favorite tour that you've been on, could you give us a most memorable moment while on stage since you've been able to go on tour?
Man, you got some good questions here. This is actually I can. This is easy for me too. In Seattle, Washington, I was on the Kenny Chesney, the stadium tour, and the first song I ever sang in college was Don't Happen Twice, a Kenny Chesney song, and I remember how nervous I was.
Yeah.
Well, fast forward like 15 years later, I'm in Seattle, Washington, and I tell Chesney that story. Well, he brings me up on stage, and I get to sing the first song I ever played at a show of mine with the man that sang the song, and that was one of those moments where it was like real, like, wow, I've made it. Like, this is I've got here moment, you know. And Kenny Chesney's somebody I've always looked up to. I know he's special to the Vol Nation.
Yeah,
and he's just a great guy, and somebody, literally, he's who I want to be one day. I want to be able to play stadiums and do that, but we got a long road ahead, and there's no surprise why he got there. He works hard off the stage, but he's a great guy. So.
Yeah, well, hopefully not a long road, but a short one, because you're already on the top of the charts everywhere else. So good luck to you. I have one last question for you, a little fun one. We know that you are a fan of Ben & Jerry's ice cream, and I'd love to ask you if you could pick one person in this entire world to go on a date with to a Ben & Jerry's if they were out on the market, right?
Yeah.
Who would it be, and where would you go have this ice cream with them?
Oh, man. You know, I could say, let's see here. Does Taylor Swift like Ben & Jerry's? We could probably do that, but I better
find out.
I know I better keep it date and just take my mom while I still got her. I love my mom. I've told her how much I love Ben & Jerry's, and I'm not sure she's on the ice cream train yet, so I'd probably take her. But if not, if my mom wasn't feeling up to it, maybe we could call Taylor Swift, see if she maybe likes some Tonight Dough or our American Dream, Red Velvet, whatever your favorite flavor is.
Well, we'll work on getting you to Ben & Jerry's with Taylor Swift. But until then, we're gonna let Cole go get ready for the showtime. Yeah, out here in Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville, Tennessee, opening for Dierks Bentley.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to see y'all.
You too.
Just killing it. Yeah,